So NewsMax is at it once again, and Stinchfield has a hot take, 200 IQ, just opinion here, and he ends up actually telling the truth, just probably not in the way that he envisions it in his mind. So let's go ahead and pull it up on the big screen, and we'll go ahead and play this clip. It is a minute and a half, but it's a pretty good clip, in my opinion. Pretty good one.
I'm telling you, folks, this is a coordinated effort among leftists, among globalists, working together to besmirch the good name of freedom lovers across Earth. Which brings us back to that Biden Homeland Security threat assessment released this week. Not once, by the way, does it mention Muslim extremism or jihad, a real threat to our safety, but instead it blames this for the dangers we now face. The quote, proliferation of false or misleading narratives which sow discord or undermine public trust in U.S. government institutions. So that one line, folks, that one line is directed at you and it's directed at me. You know what has all these governments so scared from Canada, Australia, the United States, beyond? It's that the information we, quote, proliferate isn't false at all. We offer evidence and encourage all of you, everyone in fact, to simply think for yourself. You see, that's the real danger the left faces, free thinkers. Now, I will admit to undermining public trust in U.S. government institutions because I do not trust this government. I do not trust Joe Biden. I do not trust the deep state running it or the entrenched career bureaucrat elites running our, quote, institutions. And none of you should either.
All right. So there is a lot of stuff that is wrong there. So first of all, when he's talking about how jihad and the Muslim extremists are a danger to Americans, uh, no, not really. Al Qaeda, which you know, your Al Qaeda's, your jihadist, your extremist groups, all these like different groups from the past and the present that they have talked about over the years aren't a threat to Americans. You are way more likely to die in a mass shooting than you are from a Muslim extremist group when you live in the state of Kansas. It's not a real threat to you. In fact, there was just a new leak that showed around 21% of a specific extremist right wing group, a white supremacist group, uh, were military people, people in the military. And let's go ahead and talk about the fact that he was talking about how people are losing distrust in the government institutions. Well, a large part of that is because of people like Stinchfield, uh, the entire news apparatus. That is NewsMax, Fox News, OAN, all of these different news outlets, these right wing outlets, these far right outlets that perpetuated the big lie that Trump won the election. And now you have millions and millions and millions of people, millions of Republicans, millions of conservatives who, for whatever reason, still believe that Donald Trump wins the election, but also needs to take back the office from Joe Biden because Trump won, which makes him the real president. But if he's the real president, he has 2 terms already. And if he has 2 terms, then he can no longer run for president. But, it doesn't make any sense. So there's Fox News, Newsmax, OAN, perpetuating the huge lie that further gets people to distrust government institutions. And, the election process, the process of having a president is a pretty big one, I can imagine. It's one of those things that if people don't believe in, it could probably go very bad. it could probably lead to people storming a government building, climbing the walls. Ironically, walls that they would prefer to build upon others to say that it will work, but they just climbed them. But besides that fact, uh, yeah, that actually happened, which they will deny that people were storming the Capitol. At first, it was, the Antifa super soldiers. Then it was like, oh, okay, now, okay, is it really Antifa? Okay, it is our people, but no, it really wasn't an insurrection. We were just going in there to wine and dine, maybe pour some red wine, maybe have a beer. No. Then it became, okay, let's bust these political prisoners out. So it's just a complete, mind chaos going in the mind of the average Trumpist that still believes this garbage. Now, MSNBC, CNN, they also play a role. Now, they're nowhere near as bad as Fox News, nowhere near as bad, but these, again, are people that protect the interest of the business class, protect the interest of the wealthy, and that is their agenda. Uh, Newsflash for the conservatives who, for some reason, are watching this. Uh, CNN, MSNBC, they aren't socialist. They're nowhere near it. They aren't even social democrats. CNN, MSNBC are heavily opposed to any real, even social democratic agenda. We seen what happens when Bernie Sanders rose to popularity. CNN, MSNBC did everything in their power to make sure that people were propagandized against the idea of universal health care. CNN was even caught. I believe it was CNN or MSNBC. They were caught doctoring video of Bernie Sanders to make him look more sick than he actually was. And whenever you get caught doing stuff like that, you furthermore erode trust in the government institutions. You further erode trust in the media. Furthermore, you have politicians who are absolutely useless. You have politicians who are absolutely corrupted. This is both for the Republican Party, who take money from the billionaire class, from gas, oil, the gun manufacturers, the NRA. You have Democrats who are also bought out by healthcare industries, big pharma, which is why you had Joe Biden go on the campaign trail and said that he was in favor of a public option, and now he is the president. He hasn't even talked about the public option because he's probably bought out by big pharma, and we know that big pharma spent millions of dollars to help Biden out because they recognized correctly that Bernie Sanders was a threat to their profit structure, and they didn't like that. And when people see that their politicians are so brazenly against them, they see that, we can't even get very simple stuff like what was in the Build Back Better plan. We can't even get a public option, whereas every other country in the developed world has one form of universal health care and parental paid leave by law. We don't have that in the States. And it makes it easier for people like Stinchfield to go and use that distrust to further put people down the hole and lie to them about the election, which is extremely dangerous and it will lead to people dying.